Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Adam Paoli, and I'm the president of the Northwestern Gridiron Network, and I welcome you to Homecoming and the second NGN Luncheon of the 2014 season. For those of you attending your first NGN Luncheon, let me give a second just to tell you who we are and what we do to support our beloved Cats. The NGN is the volunteer-run fundraising arm that provides our coaches and staff with the necessary resources to recruit and develop first-class student athletes, several of which you're going to meet today. This is one of our many events that raise funds directly for our football program and give our members exclusive access to the finest football program in the country. On behalf of the NGN board, I thank you for all joining us today and for everything you're doing to support Northwestern football. I encourage those of you who are not NGN members, which most of you aren't, there's a table out front with some information that has a little bit more about what our membership levels are, and there are contact cards if you'd like to get on our email list and stay in touch. We'd love to let you know what we're doing. 2015 is going to be a big year for us. Also, if you'd like, you can reach out to somebody who is wearing a purple name tag who is probably sitting at a table near you. If at this point I could have the NGN board please stand. Well, apparently they're all sitting at the same table. All right, for next year, spread out a little bit, would you? So segregate to the center table to talk to them a little bit more. But again, I've got a lot to thank this group for. They represent the most dedicated of us Wildcat fans, not only attending every day and financially supporting us, but investing a lot of time in our events, helping organize our members, and keep growing this great organization. So I can't thank you guys enough. One round of applause for our board, please. So this is Homecoming. It's a time for fellowship with former classmates, an excellent excuse to revisit the institution that defined who you are as a man or woman. Excuse me. It's also a chance to see what's changed on campus since you graduated, be that just a few years ago or a few decades ago, or in the case of my teammate over here in the green sweatshirt, about 50 pounds ago. I love you, Trey. That's mean. He's not even going to get the mic to defend himself either, but I'm sure he'll rough me up later. For sure. As you were driving in, I'm sure you saw a lot of brand new buildings, a lot of cranes and construction vehicles, all indications of the continuous change on campus. And our continued success on the field is evidence in the transformational changes our football program is going through. The program is dedicated to playing challenging opponents in our non-conference schedule. And as a result, I think we know more about our team going into Big Ten season than anybody else in the conference. Northwestern has made significant investments in our coaches, our staff, our administration, and our players to put us in a position to achieve levels of sustained success that we've never seen before. And in an era where you can't avoid stories in the news about NCAA violations and negligence by our football peers, Coach Fitz and his staff, most important, are continuing to mold our men into model citizens that we're proud to stand behind. We have demonstrated the ability to sustain success athletically without compromising our academic standards or our moral standards. And as a former player and alum of this institution, I can't say that I'm any prouder for our boys. Without any further ado, we've got several honored guests that are responsible for these transformational changes. And that's going to be led today by our MC, who's a man who needs no introduction amongst this crowd. He's been a featured speaker at many of our events, has been incredibly generous with his time and his support for the NGN, and is the voice of the Wildcats. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dave Ennett.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to those of you who are back for the weekend. Welcome home. I also want to mention, and I've been honored to be at this luncheon a number of times in the past, but I can't believe that the size of the crowd, and in fact we have an overflow crowd, don't know if everybody in the room knows this, watching a live video stream out on the lawn out here. So how about a round of applause for the people outside? Thousands, I believe. Adam, isn't about 10,000 out there on the lawn from what I'm told? We have a lot of people from whom you're going to hear, so we're going to move quickly, but I always get asked, what are your favorite memories of homecoming? What are the best games that you've been fortunate enough to do? And I have a pretty long list because there have been some unbelievable games on homecoming in the past. For you, maybe it's 1997. Do you remember against Nick Saban and Michigan State when Anwan Jones blocked the field goal at the end to win the game? 2012, which happened to be, I think, my 35th reunion just a couple of years ago when we beat the Iowa Hawkeyes. 09, the Stephen Demos field goal at the end of the game to cap the comeback win over Indiana. How about 07? Anybody remember that game? Overtime against Minnesota, 49-48. All great games. But if there's one that is always going to be my favorite, 1995, Northwestern 35, Wisconsin nothing. So I should correct myself. That's my favorite until tomorrow and the win over the Cornhuskers. So, again, we have a lot of people from whom you're going to hear. We're glad you're here. We hope you enjoy the luncheon. This time it's my honor to introduce the president of Northwestern University and the #1 Wildcat fan, Morty Shapiro.
Thank you very much. So when Adam said the voice of the Wildcats, I started getting up. I thought for a second it was me, but it was you, Dave. So you have a much better voice than I have, and the voice of the Wildcats. Actually, I got to listen to him on the radio because Bob McQuinn, our vice president for alumni relations and development, and I were in Asia this past week, and we were actually on a plane coming back from Tokyo on Saturday, and even though it said Wi-Fi and we were all set, the connection wasn't good enough to stream, but it was good enough to listen to 720, and we listened to you, and I got even more appreciation for how incredibly good you are. I was just telling Kyle Prater, my favorite call was with that pass to Kyle, and you said, well, it's incomplete. And you say, wait, I just watched the video. He actually caught that ball. And guess what? He did. And that was an amazing catch, so I have even more appreciation for you, Dave. Adam mentioned our tough football schedule outside of conference. Obviously, the 8 games and soon to be 9, another 2 years if you play in conference. So we try to schedule really good schools, really good football programs. Occasionally we mess up and we get a Division I AA or like the one on, I think, November 15th in South Bend. That's Division III, right? I think they're Division III. Pretty sure we played them when I was at Williams. But anyway, so it's not always perfect fit. Sometimes we have the marshmallows there going into South Bend. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see many of you there. We're going to need a lot of purple that day. I know how Fitz feels about that football team, but I'm not going to go there because this is a G-rated crowd, so I'm not going to say anything about how he feels about the Notre Dame team. I'm going to say a few things. Dave and Adam both alluded to the fact that this is a chance to revel in your friendships, to come back to campus, to see some changes in campus. Hopefully it's not so changed that you don't recognize why you fell in love with Northwestern whenever you were here. It's still a wonderful, warm, community. It's a Midwestern community with a lack of entitlement and a certain level of civility and respect and indeed humility. I love it. This is now my 6th year. My wife Mimi's here as well. For 6 years, we've just loved to be part of the Northwestern community. I've never felt more at home for myself and for my family, and that's really a tribute to the Midwestern aspects of an inclusive community that we have here. It's a beautiful fall day. I give Mimi credit for that, and when it rains, it's my fault, but it's a beautiful day. You couldn't ask for better weather. I'm really looking forward to this panel. I want to give a little plug that as soon as this one ends, around 1:45, many of us are going next door to McCormick Auditorium right here in Norris to do another panel. And it's always one of my highlights. I actually get, Dave, even though I'm not the voice, I get to moderate a panel where we select people from different reunion classes, several of whom are at my table here right now. And I get to interview them a little bit, and they're from the not-for-profit world, the for-profit world, the entertainment world, wherever they're from. And I get to interview them a little bit about, how they reached the exalted place where they are right now. to great positions of national and international leadership, and it always is a lot of fun. So I strongly recommend, it's an hour, another hour panel, so after this one, you should go next door to that one. Parade is fun, right? Parade is going to be a lot of fun. The weather should be nice. Anna Gasteyer, if you know, from Saturday Night Live, Mean Girls, and a whole bunch of other things, she's the Grand Marshal, which is going to be really exciting. The pep rally is always a lot of fun. A lot of cheering, and we do the homecoming, court and the whole thing, and that's always a lot of fun. Then a number of you go off to dinners, and Mimi and Bob McQueen and I go around. I thought we were doing 8, but I heard now it's 10, so we're going to do 10 dinners. So save a little food for me. Save a little food for me. That's always a lot of fun. So I'll get this chance to see many of you there. Tomorrow there's a big tent and all kinds of reunion events, but there's also a football game. Okay, so don't forget that one of the greatest parts of homecoming and reunions is actually to play football, and I just can't wait. Fitz, I just can't wait till tomorrow. I mean, raise your hand if you thought that this team was going to go into Happy Valley and completely dominate a very good Penn State team. I was looking at Fitz and Kyle, and I know Tim's here and a couple other football. Good, I'm glad you put your hands up. Oh, there, I see you there, good. And how many of you also thought that we were going to beat a very good top 20 Wisconsin team? Also, okay. So how many of you think we're going to beat a also very good top 20 Nebraska team tomorrow? We will. Yeah, we will is the name of the campaign, but it's also what's going to happen tomorrow. What a series, boy, with 3 games with them, all down on the wire, and I just can't wait to play. It's a great academic school. It's a great athletic school, and an incredible team. So, but we're going to win tomorrow, and that's really exciting. I was actually, Fitz, I don't think you saw it, and Kyle saw it, that I was interviewed yesterday, I think, in the Daily Northwestern, a little bit about the football season, and I said that I happened to run into Fitz after the first 2 games of the season, and I didn't say anything. I'm an academic. I'm a professor of economics. I do applied econometrics. I like sports, but I was never big, strong enough, or good enough to really play it at any real level. So, I'm a big fan, but I don't really understand, as much as many of you do about what it's like actually to play football. So I didn't know what to make after the first 2 games, and Fitz said, we're a really good team. This is going to be a really good season. And I was quoted in the Daily saying, really? But I didn't really say, really? I said, really? Really? Fitz, you remember what I said, really? Yeah, I was just saying, you go, guy. I wasn't saying like, what are you smoking, right? That's for those of you who graduated in the 60s. Anyway, so I was confident, and I absolutely believed you. And I told Mimi when I came back, I said, Fitz is really optimistic. And with the senior leadership reflected here, I'm not surprised that this is turning out to be a heck of a season. And we had a lot of football ahead of us, and it's a really key, important national TV night game with those funny Gothic uniforms and all. I don't know whether that'll scare Nebraska, but it might distract them a little bit. I don't know, with that crazy lettering and stuff and the helmets. But anyway, Dave, I'm really excited about tomorrow, and I just can't wait for that. But again, welcome back. People here are so generous with their time and with their financial resources. I just hope you have a great time reacquainting yourself with this beautiful campus and with many people whom you've loved over the years. And go Cats.
Thank you, Morty. I may have misspoken a little bit. I introduced you as the #1 Wildcat fan. I think that's accurate, but if there's 1A and 1B, and the gentleman I'm going to introduce now, I think it's a tie. If you watch them on the sidelines during the games, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. But he's done so much for Northwestern athletics. Please welcome now the Vice President of Athletics and Recreation, Dr. Jim Phillips.
So Morty, who's 1A and 1B? I want to answer that. I want that question to be answered before I go any further. Welcome home, Wildcats. And as been mentioned by Adam and Dave and Morty, this will always be your home. It's so wonderful to see all of you. Some we get to interact with on a regular basis, others a little more infrequently. But this place is a spectacular institution for lots of reasons, one of which is the guy that you heard speak before me. We have the very best president in the country that really understands the importance of athletics and sport and all the rest of it. So thank you, Morty. But it really is a world-class place because of you and the mark that each of you have left in one way or another. And we have a great group of young men and women that represent us both as students and as student athletes. I'm very privileged to oversee the group of 492 that wear the jersey every day. You're going to hear from a panel of them in a little bit, but they're remarkable. They're really remarkable young men that really are our leaders of tomorrow, and we need them to be. And I thought today I would share with you just some of the wonderful accomplishments that the group that you're going to root for tomorrow at 6:30 in the evening have put together, as well as all of our 19 programs that, again, do it at the highest level, academically, athletically, and socially. But we're coming off a year where we finished with the highest GPA ever in the history of Northwestern athletics. 492 young student athletes accumulated a 3.24 GPA across all kinds of disciplines and all the rest of it. It is now 30 consecutive quarters of work by these young men and women above a 3.0 GPA. Last year, we had a record 220 academic All-Americans, academic All-Big Ten, which is the highest, as I mentioned. We also had 36 of those in our football program, which is, again, remarkable. The football team you're going to root on tomorrow has been first or second in the country the last 5 years with a 97% graduation success rate. And I think that really epitomizes what a Northwestern student athlete is, and certainly what a Northwestern football student athlete is. So how about a round of applause for all of that? The second piece that I talk all the time about is this idea of a social consciousness and awareness and a responsibility that these young men and women have to give back to those in need. And we're coming again off a year where we did over 5,500 hours of community service work. Every student athlete in our department did at least 2 community service projects. And again, I'm extremely proud, and you should be really proud of them, because when they leave campus, just like so many of this group in this room have done, they go into communities and make a difference, just like each and every one of you are. Athletically, we're off to a great start. We have a number of our programs ranked in the top 25 already in the fall. When you think about field hockey in the top 10, women's golf in the top 10, men's soccer in the top 20, volleyball in the top 25, the list goes on. And as we've talked about, we got a football program that is absolutely headed in the right direction, and a huge game tomorrow. So I'm really proud of them, and I know we have a few of the student athletes here, but we have the very best football coach in the country. And I think sometimes we take folks for granted, and we maybe don't appreciate day to day what they do, but there's nobody better in this country, and certainly nobody better for this institution than our head football coach that you're going to hear from in a little bit, Pat Fitzgerald. So how about a round of applause for Pat? So as been mentioned, it is homecoming. The first homecoming we had here was November 11th, 1911. Northwestern Wildcats versus the University of Chicago Maroons. 7,500 folks came to the parade on Friday night. Morty, is that how many we're going to have tonight for the parade? Sounds good. So homecoming is alive and well as we go into it in 2014. There's been a lot of talk, and I know Morty mentioned the Northwestern Gothic uniforms tomorrow. So, that's just the day and age we're in, as far as there's lots of folks and lots of institutions doing things with uniforms. And the modern day student athlete loves it. I can tell you the group that we showed the uniform to, our football program, loved it. But there's a little history, and there's a lot of history and tradition about it, and I want to tell you a few things about it. It came from the very beginning of our partnership with Under Armour, who's been a wonderful partner out of Baltimore, company founded by Kevin Plank, the CEO in the United States, and has just taken off. We've been the first Big Ten school to be an all-exclusive partner with Under Armour. But the official colors of the university were purple and what's considered old gold in the late 1800s. Script on the jersey is the same typeface used on the campus signs with that unique spoked T. So if you look at it tomorrow, you'll see that. And if you look at all of the signs around our campus, you see that gold lettering, which again represents who we are. On the shoulder pads, there's bricks and ivy pattern and pants that reflects our campus design. And on the back of the helmet, there's an arch representing the arch that every freshman now, since Morty has come, walks through as kind of a symbolic gesture that they are entering into their new home and a new place for them to develop as young men and young women. So that's the history of that uniform that you're going to see tomorrow. So it is really a chance for us to pay tribute to this world-class institution in a great way. Lots of projects going on, as Adam mentioned. If you have not gone to the new Visitors Center, it is spectacular. The new Bean and School of Music's about to open soon. We have a wonderful project that we're working on that you see, I think, a picture of over there, the Lakefront Athletics Facility that will be the home for not only 492 student athletes, but also have a wonderful recreation component. So all of our students that are going over to the Crown Athletic Center, as well as all the facilities along the lakefront, Lakeside Athletic Field, will have now a new home. And so I really appreciate it. I see so many of you that have been involved in that project, and we're making such substantial progress. But that's what tremendous institutions and growing institutions and aspiring institutions, that's what you have to do to continue to recruit the very best students and the very best student athletes in the country. Let me just finish by saying how it's been opened by so many folks. I hope you don't ever underestimate the impact that you've had on this incredible institution. And again, many of you I see on a regular basis, and a lot of you I don't see as often because you live in different parts of the country and different parts of the world. But don't ever forget that you've left your imprint on this place, and we very much appreciate it. And that moving forward, you always remember that is truly your home every day for any time that you can come back. So let's enjoy the next couple days together. Let's kick the Cornhuskers and go Cats. Thanks.
Jim, I'm sorry to say that 1911 homecoming game, we lost to the Maroons 9-3. However, we came back and won in 1912 6-0 over Illinois. So, for the first homecoming win. Why I even know that? I have no idea. Way too much stuff rattling around in there. Well, his boss has already called him the best football coach in America. I don't think he needs any further introduction. The head coach of the Cats, Pat Fitzgerald.
Good afternoon, Cats. How's everybody doing? So you're that hungover from last night? Come on. Hi, Cats. How we doing? Hey. All right. Dave, the reason why you know about that score is I think you called the game. So, no, it's great to be with everyone. Morty and Mimi, thanks so much for all your support. Our great trustees that are here. Unbelievable the amount of support that we have as an athletic department and obviously as a football program. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. And we greatly appreciate your generosity, your support emotionally, and just being here for all of our student athletes and especially for our football program. To the best athletic director in the country and his great wife, Laura, Jim Phillips, thanks for your amazing leadership. You hear those numbers academically. That doesn't happen by accident. And all the things that are being talked about now on the TMZ of college sports called ESPN, you don't hear about that. You don't hear about that at Northwestern. And it starts with great leadership. And thanks for all that you do, Jim, on a daily basis. We've got a lot of our athletic department staff here. It's just a really special place to be and a special place to call home. And I want to welcome everybody back. If this is the first time that you've been back in a while, if you come every Saturday to watch us in the fall, or it's been a yearly tradition for you just to come back to homecoming, this is always a special weekend. And to see this room filled up with so many supportive faces, we can't thank you enough. But there's a special group that's here today, and I want to recognize them in particular. Every young man that put on the purple and white and played for us, can you please stand up right now and be recognized? We've got a room full of guys. Please stand up. You're not done. You're not done. You're not done. We're going to start all the way in the back as loud as you can, who you are, what position you played, and what year you graduated. Go ahead, all the way in the back. Let's hold our applause to the end. Okay, so it's a class now. We're not supposed to clap. Come on, we're all Northwestern graduates.
I played 9 different positions. 1971. Dale Cowell, defensive end, 1971. Taxonville defensive end, 1999.
Dick Euler, 1964, middle linebacker.
Pete Dennison, 1964, fullback, corner linebacker, and kicker.
Kevin Bailey, 2005, wide receiver.
Troy Essex, 2005, tight end.
Sandy Sachs, captain, 1955. Tackle, I was big as Craig when I played. You might remember it was a great undefeated, unscored upon team in 55.
Gary Russ again, 1965. Steve Ostrowski, 94, linebacker.
Reese, did you go? Phil, did you go? I missed you? Okay, I'm sorry. You guys can grab a seat. How about a big round of applause? In my opinion, that's what this weekend's all about. It's to see classes like the class of 64. It seems like it's a pretty big year for you guys for some reason. I don't know why. But welcome home. I know I get a chance to see a lot of you guys. I got a great note. I've gotten 2 notes from Coach Parsegian this year. He seems to be really excited when we win. So he's counting down the days until we go over and see him. But just FYI, he's doing great, and he's sent us some really special notes. And we stand upon your shoulders, men. And I've got 4 guys that are here with me today that, maybe in 2054, they'll all be here at a table talking about their senior class and the way that they finished their senior year and how they led us to something very special. So I want to introduce the 4 guys that are here with me today and have them come on up here, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. The first young man's playing linebacker for us. Eventually start making your way up here, Jimmy. He's from Toledo, Ohio. He's from Sylvania High School. He played safety most of his career. He had a great bowl game a couple years ago. And we played a nickel position for us, and now he's playing Sam linebacker. He wears number 9 from Sylvania High School, James Hall. From Grand Blanc High School in Flint, Michigan. He's made so many big plays. I don't have enough time to talk about all of them. He's battled through some injuries here early on, and he's back healthy and is poised to have a big game tomorrow. Wide receiver number 6, Tony Jones. And then we've got 2 Chicagoans that are seniors. The first one from the west side, from Maywood, and went to Proviso West High School. He got a little lost initially in his career. He went out to Hollywood. I don't know why, but I'm glad he came back home and had really playing the best football of his career right now. And what an amazing catch last week that he had. And number 21, Kyle Prater. So for the young men that stood up and spoke, we started a tradition a few years ago that we stopped giving out jersey number 1. We don't give that to a high school player. We don't believe, number 1, in that number being something that's symbolic about how great you were in high school. There's a lot of kids that I think that's a little bit of their problem, that they think that they've earned something through their high school career that they haven't quite earned yet on the college gridiron. So we take the jersey number 1 and we put it aside. And then I work with our senior class and our leadership council and our coaching staff to reward to one young man the jersey number 1 to the person that embodies everything that we stand for and what it means to be a Wildcat and everything that we value. And this young man's had that jersey for 2 straight years. He's from Frankfort, Illinois, Providence Catholic High School, number 1 in the program and number 1 in your heart, Tim Hanrahan. I think the guys will make fun of him for my introduction, so sorry, Tim, I apologize for that. But we got a big game tomorrow. So with that, let's open up for questions. Dave, you ready to go here with the panel discussion?
So let me start, Tony, with you. You had to sit out a couple of games. How tough was it for you to watch while you're sitting out dealing with an injury? Yeah, just come on up.
You know, anytime you have to sit out a couple of games, it's extremely difficult. But, you just trust in your teammates. You know that they're going to go out there and play their hearts out. And, just use it as motivation to get back out there and, enjoy playing with them and embrace each and every moment.
We're doing another mic. There you are. Pass this down. Tim, Coach just talked about the number 1. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, it's absolutely an honor and privilege. Obviously, I kind of joke around that. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, absolute honor and privilege. I kind of joked around that, you must have put my name in a hat and picked it out because we got 100 other guys that, deserve just as much and work their tail off day and night to make the team as good as they can be. So. I'm just honored and I look forward to passing it on next year, after I graduate to, another one of the guys that deserves it. And it's going to be a tough decision, I guess, because we got, like I said, a lot of people that deserve that kind of recognition. So.
Good. Thanks, Tim. Kyle, Dr. Shapiro already mentioned the catch you made on Saturday at Minnesota, and just watching it with the naked eye, official ruled it incomplete, said, okay, incomplete pass, and then on the replay it was obvious you had caught it. You got up right away. Your immediate reaction was, I caught it, and you're pleading your case. How'd you rate that whole few seconds there while you're waiting for the ruling to come down on the replay, and because you knew in your heart that you'd caught the ball?
Those are one of those things that, looking back in the offseason, the amount of training that I put in and the guys, we work on the judge machine, making those same sketches all the time. So, I knew right then and there that I made the catch. I was very confident. It was just one of those things that I'm just blessed that I had the opportunity to catch it.
Let me ask a follow-up, because everybody knows, as this coach said, you took a detour to Hollywood. But you're here. You certainly have worked hard to get on the field, getting this chance now. What did it mean to you when you finally got in the end zone against Northern Illinois?
It's a blessing, especially looking back to all the injuries that I had to overcome and the surgeries. It was really humbling. The most important thing was just the team embracing me, and that's the reason why I'm a Wildcat. And just that moment in the end zone, the offense just embraced me, and it was a great moment. You know, it was a tough loss, but at the end of the day, you just got to look at those moments. You just have to live it. But it was a great moment.
Very nice. Jimmy, you made one of the big plays in the win over Wisconsin, and it's kind of been a characteristic of this team. You guys come up with turnovers, the offense cashes in. I believe that the numbers are, you've outscored your opponents in points off turnovers 43-0. What's the mentality on the defense in terms of getting the ball, giving it to your offense? I think yours came at the 16-yard line, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I just want to say that was actually tipped. Tip pass by a teammate. You know, so really I was just there. Didn't really do anything special. You know. Yeah, Coach Hank really has been, you know, just giving us go get the ball mentality all year. You know, be aggressive. You know, go make plays when you know, when it's your time to do so. So I think we all been, you know, kind of taking that to heart and just going out there and trying to make plays.
All right, I've got a question for you guys. Jimmy, you got the mic, so you go real quick. What are you guys majoring in, and what are you doing right now academically?
I'm majoring in learning and organizational change, but I actually just graduated in June, so I'm in grad school doing marketing.
Tony?
I'm also a learning and organizational change major. Unlike Jimmy, I'm not in the master's program. I'm only focusing on one class and, you know, bringing you all wins on Saturday afternoons.
I'm actually somewhat the same as Tony's. I'm a communications major, graduating this summer. I'm currently in an independent study class right now with one class, so I'm just focusing on ball and getting us a win tomorrow.
I'm with Tony and Kyle on that one. I studied chemical engineering. So after 4 years of chemical engineering classes, this quarter I'm taking intro to painting.
Stick figures?
Something like that.
You got anything for me?
I'll ask you one more.
I'll take it. Okay. Well, obviously, it's great to have Trey Essex back as our honorary captain this weekend. Two-time Super Bowl champion. You know, Trey did play tight end, if you can believe that, and was a great one. But where he kind of got a little lost was like Giordano's, somewhere around there. And, you know, he road graded most of the Big Ten throughout his career. So, Trey, welcome back. We're excited to have you here. How about a big round of applause for Trey? Well, it's going to be a great football game tomorrow night, so save some of your energy. 6:30, there's something special about Ryan Field at night. There's been amazing games every time we turn the lights on. It should be just something spectacular, and really looking forward to the challenge. We're playing a very good football team, but I think we're pretty darn good too. I think we're really starting to build and become the team that we're capable of, and we're slowly starting to mature. And I think tomorrow it's going to come down to a few things. Number one, we need to start fast. When we've started fast, when we've got out of the gates pretty quickly, we've played pretty well, and you know, that's pretty much been the benchmark in all three of our successful games. We've got to win the turnover ratio, and I don't know exactly what the stat is, but I think in our last 3 games against Nebraska, that's kept us in the game and given us an opportunity to win those games. And we've been unfortunate in a couple, but we've been right there, and we've got to make a few more plays. And then third, there are going to be a lot of contested balls on both sides. In the passing game, Nebraska plays a very tight man-to-man coverage concept. We've obviously got things that we have to do, but we've got to win the 50-50 balls with Kyle and Tony from a standpoint of when those throws are there, we've got to make those plays. And then on the flip side, defensively, we've got to do a great job of when we're in man and then on our zone coverage of breaking on throws and making big plays. And one area that I think is going to be the difference is going to be in the kicking game. We've been pretty good in that area. We took a step back last week. I think our guys are very focused and very hungry to go out and make amends for a couple of the mistakes that we made in the game a week ago. So we're going to need everybody, so get there early. Last time we played a night game in Ryan Field, it was rocking and rolling, and we're going to need you guys to be there fired up, ready to go too. So save a little bit of energy for us tomorrow night. Have a wonderful, wonderful homecoming weekend. Thanks so much for your support, and as always, go Cats. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Coach. We have one other very important moment here, and you met him a few moments ago as the former players introduced themselves. I'd like to call up Pete Stamison, who has a very special presentation to make. Pete?
Jay, Chuck, Kent, my captains of the only Northwestern football team ever to be ranked #1 in the country, and also captains of the squad of our 50th reunion, Kent Pike, Chuck Logan, Jay Robertson. The story behind this proclamation creation is too long for this event. But to my knowledge, the California Governor's Office, no such proclamation has ever been made welcoming the opponent of a Rose Bowl team, ever. Still, and all that. So I'm going to read you the proclamation that Governor Pete Wilson signed off in December of 1995. Whereas on January 1st, 1996, Northwestern University will make only its second trip to the Rose Bowl in school history and the first since 1949. And whereas the Northwestern Wildcats have enjoyed a Cinderella season, happens to be Pat Fitzgerald's season also, silencing their detractors and overcoming the label of Wildcats. Remember that one? We lived that for 25 years. Whereas throughout the year, underdog Northwestern has demonstrated the power of high hopes, including their first defeat of Notre Dame since 1962's #1 ranked Wildcats defeated the Irish. Now therefore, I, Pete Wilson, Governor of the State of California, do hereby welcome Gary Barnett and the Northwestern Wildcats in Pasadena and congratulate them on their outstanding year. And that's what we have here, and we are presenting this on behalf of the 50th class reunion of the class of 1964, as well as the #1 ranked football team in the nation, only one of Northwestern. We hope one of these days you guys are going to become #1 again and go to the Rose Bowl and kick butt and be #1 in the country. So it's great. Now, having said that, I tried my darndest to get Era Parsegian, as well as Bruce Beatty, our defensive coach, here. They're the only two of a great coaching staff of 8 coaches that are still alive today, Era and Bruce. But Notre Dame had different plans for Era, and Bruce's health had different plans for him. But I had a chance to read the proclamation over the telephone to them, and I want to relate to you, best as I can recollect and wrote down, what Era said, and also what Bruce said. Era, a man of few words for those of us that know and played for him, except when you screwed up, said, Pete, you covered it all. That was it. Wish I could be there. And Bruce said, and this is one that I think comes to all of us that played under those two guys, and the dear guys, Alex Agassi, said, in my 35 years of coaching college football and professional football, I've never worked with better men than those associated with Northwestern football under Aaron Alex and that number 1 ranked 1962 NU football team. I wear with great pride my honorary N-men sweater and wish Coach Fitz, his team, and Northwestern all the very best for this season and beyond. So on behalf, folks, of that number 1 ranked NU football team of 1962 and the graduation class of 1964, I gift that proclamation, which is priceless, I believe, although they were trying to say, come on, you got to come up with a big number, because I was on their reunion committee. And I couldn't fake it. I couldn't fake it. I said, it's priceless. What can I do? So anyway, I bequeath that. So would my fellow teammates stand up? I'd like to have everybody give us a hand to my fellow teammates, please. Jay, please come on guys, hand it to Fitz, please. Don't drop it. Got to give it to Morty tonight. By the way, we were at that game. Fitz had a broken leg, couldn't play. If Fitz played, we would have won that game. We would have been 2-0. That's true. You know it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We look forward to being that number 1 team again. You guys are who we stand upon. We would not have won that game. All right, so Barney wasn't going to put me on Keyshawn Johnson. So, but on behalf of our football team and the university, men, thank you. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your 50th reunion. You guys better not party too hard tonight. We need you tomorrow. So thanks a lot, everybody. Go Cats.
And that's it. Thank you all very much for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you tomorrow night at Ryan Field. Go Cats.